Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Simplex Hydronic Technology YouTube channel. Today, we're making this video to give a brief recap on the difference between radiant floor heating and radiant ceiling heating. This is because we receive a lot of requests every day from our followers regarding the differences between a radiant system installed under the floor and one installed in the ceiling. Well, first of all, I want to focus on a major difference, probably the most important one. In a typical floor heating system, in an average 100 square meter apartment, it takes an entire day to bring the temperature from 18 to 21 degrees, so we're talking about 7 to 10 hours. With a ceiling heating system, it only takes 20 to 30 minutes. This is because the ceiling system has no thermal inertia, or if it does, it's extremely low, basically limited to the plasterboard panel itself, which is only about a centimeter thick. So, bringing the system up to temperature, considering the same surface area, there's a truly huge difference between floor and ceiling systems. So, in practical terms, this means that if I'm away from home and need to bring my house up to temperature when I return from vacation or a weekend away with a ceiling system, I can turn it on from my smartphone 20 minutes or half an hour before coming back, and I'll find my home already at the desired temperature. As for the floor system, on the other hand, this can't be done. The temperature needs to remain constant and close to the desired level. Obviously, it's not hard to see that the two solutions have a completely different impact on energy consumption as well. The second major advantage, or rather a significant difference that I consistently try to make clear to everyone I interact with on a daily basis, is the crucial aspect related to cooling. That is, first of all, I want to debunk the idea that this belief that heat necessarily has to rise. In a ceiling system, it works through radiation, so the same principle applies as when I am under the sun. That is, if on a very cold day I go and stand under the sun, I am irradiated by the sun's rays, and of course I immediately feel a sensation of warmth. The same thing happens with a radiant system. As for the cooling aspect, it is very important to emphasize that while in a floor system, cooling is very mild and difficult to achieve, partly because of all the inertia that can build up, but especially, for example, the possibility of mold forming due to this cooling, which can even affect just the furniture placed on the floor. So, in addition to reducing the cooling power, it actually creates mold and prevents the system from working as it should. On the other hand, when it comes to radiant ceiling systems, cooling does not encounter any obstacles here either, so you get a sensation as if you were in a mountain house. Of course, it is always advisable to have proper dehumidification, especially in the Po Valley area or in coastal regions. If you want to reach the desired temperature in the room, it is essential to have proper dehumidification inside the spaces. Otherwise, it is still possible to cool, but you won't achieve the desired temperature. You have to stop earlier to avoid reaching the dew point. So, a very important thing is to also take into account the aspect related to dehumidification. The last point I would like to address is, of course, the issue of costs. Obviously, we are talking about two radiant systems, but with completely different costs. Well, obviously, a radiant floor system today has extremely low market prices because over time it has been highly optimized, practically in every aspect, from the panel to the pipe, the entire hydraulic part, whereas for ceiling radiant systems, there are many options available on the market. But those who today install ceiling radiant systems in a truly and extremely professional way still have a significantly higher price range compared to the classic floor system. This is justified by the fact that the panel is built in a certain way to last, let's say, the entire lifetime of the apartment to ensure maximum efficiency both in terms of energy and for both heating and cooling. And above all, the ceiling system requires, on the central heating side, a heat pump together with a central heating unit, including the domestic hot water part, all built in a specific way, which in the end, when you calculate the final costs, definitely has a significant impact compared to radiant floor heating. How much? Well, current estimates say that a ceiling system costs at least twice as much as a floor system. We're talking about high-end, top-quality ceiling systems here, so not just a basic ceiling system, but the ratio is at least 1 to 2. Obviously, there are much greater cost savings compared to underfloor heating, so this investment is also recouped over time. But I always tell the people I talk to more than just a return in terms of costs. What I really try to spread as an idea is the huge difference in terms of comfort. On one hand, we have heating with very high thermal inertia. On the other hand, we have immediate heating. On one side, we have mild cooling that's very hard to achieve with underfloor systems. On the other, we have cooling that's the best of the best because ceiling systems are actually designed to be used primarily for cooling. Anyone who installs a ceiling system just for heating today is like buying a Ferrari with a speed limiter, because the real advantage of a ceiling system is definitely the ability to also use it for cooling. If you enjoyed this video, I invite you to like our channel because in the future we will definitely be taking a closer look at all the pros and cons of every type of radiant system. I'll also be able to make videos to answer more specific questions, even about individual components of these systems, which are truly the future of our construction industry. Thanks again for watching our video and see you next time.